Greetings everyone on this wonderful summer's day. I hope you are all well. The Bank of England, in its wisdom, decided to hold interest rates at 5.25% again. I'm absolutely shocked that they've decided to do that. A few months ago, before Christmas, I was predicting that inflation would begin to come down dramatically, and by April, May time, it would probably reach 2% or lower, and then it would continue to fall until it heads for zero or less, meaning that the economy is actually contracting. Then we will have the Bank of England desperately lowering interest rates in a frantic effort to resuscitate the economy, and that seems to be what is going to happen. They have indicated that interest rates will come down probably in the next month or two. We may even see more than 0.25% drop in one go, because it is expected that if within the next month to maximum that inflation will hit 2% or less, and then it will be the Bank of England playing a game of catch up to resuscitate the economy. A few months ago, when I said interest rates should have come down, people were saying, the ones who know it all, were saying that that's wrong and that's not the case. I did explain why these interest rates being so high have not contributed to inflation in any way, shape or form, because this was not a consumer-led inflation. This is what they call in the industry, so I'm told, push inflation. It is based on factors beyond our shores, nothing to do with the people of this country, who are the very people being punished by these ridiculously high interest rates. And I know those of you who were mortgage payers back in the early 90s think, well, this is nothing compared to them. We need to keep in mind that the degree of borrowing has basically been correlated to the lower rates. So it's not been about nominal debt, it's been about the nominal payment each month. That's how people have been calculating what they can borrow. And banks have been basically almost pushing more debt on people, because it's not that long ago that you were lucky to borrow more than 3 times your income, and look how much more people can borrow now. But once interest rates rise, we all know the consequences. Now, I've not really made much comment about house prices lately, because everything seems to be all over the place. But I do have to speak up about that now, because I am seeing some reckless, ridiculous and outright dishonest headlines in the media of house prices are going to bounce back. They use these sayings, don't they? Bounce back. And they're going to boom and so on. I'm sorry to say, I think that's absolute rubbish. And with the exception of certain hotspots, the pressure on housing is still downwards. Unemployment is rising. GDP per capita is still falling, despite the fact that the government has been lying, bare-faced lies, for however many quarters. I've lost count now. It could be 8 or 9, if not more. GDP per capita has actually been falling. Yes, for the last 2 or 3 years, we have been getting poorer, but the government quotes total GDP, which is basically, I would call it Rishinomics. Basically, back to lies, damned lies, and statistics once again. So unemployment is rising. We are getting poorer. Disposable income is falling. Cost of living, obviously, we all know where it is. And even though inflation is coming down, that doesn't mean prices are coming down. It just means they've stopped going up as much. But we've had to absorb that rise, that extra amount that everything seems to cost. And on top of that, we have all of these additional costs, because there seems to be something new that we have to pay for every month for something, and it has to come from somewhere. And obviously all of this money is needed to go into the kitty to pay for those who are not putting into the kitty. But I'll leave that there. I won't go off on a tangent, I promise. Now, for that reason, I do believe that overall the pressure on houses is downwards. I can't give a figure, and it would be unfair at this point unless I actually had some basis in fact to do this. And as I said, the problem is we can't actually get any accurate information because everybody's lying through their teeth. One thing I know for sure is that the major developers have taken a serious hit. Hooray, because you know what I think of them. 8 of the largest developers are being investigated for price fixing and anti-competitive practice. Hooray, about time. And as I said, for those of you who I've been warning off buying a new property throughout the whole of last year with a small deposit, for the time being, no rush, hold off, because if you look back, if you were thinking about buying last year and you did hold off because you heeded what I've said, I know that there were 1 or 2 others saying the same thing, but not many. Everybody was arguing, looking for any possible data to talk the market up, basically to lie to you. And most estate agents, I'm afraid, most, but not all, are part of that dishonest club. So look at where you would have been had you have bought that property that you had in mind a year or so ago now, and keep that in mind. And as I said, I feel that the downward pressure will continue for the best part of this year, and maybe even into some or most of next year. That remains to be seen. With regards to interest rates, the longer they leave it to begin dropping them, because other Europeans have begun dropping their interest rates. I appreciate that in the US, their inflation has actually gone up slightly. Different market. I don't know why the Bank of England is sitting on the naughty step waiting for permission from the Fed to make a decision about what affects the UK economy, but it does seem as though that is what they are doing. But they are throttling our economy. There are hundreds of thousands of businesses on the verge of bankruptcy. Many have gone already. The number of people who are in arrears has increased significantly. They are causing serious damage, tangible damage to everyday people, everyday businesses, and for them to have kept interest rates this high and not dropped them, started lowering them from months ago, is reckless, incompetent, and outright malicious behaviour towards the British public. And I do believe that in a year or 2, or maybe more, we'll be looking back over this period and there will be some questions asked about the conduct of the Bank of England and its contribution to the suffering of the people of this country. I think that went on for a little longer than it should have done. Anyway, thank you very much. As always, if you have any questions about anything to do with property, get in touch. If you want to argue any point and you'd like to join me live, send me a message. That would be fun. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now, and I'll see you soon.